Hey folks, Attorney Pete O'Mara. I'm a defense attorney, and I want to talk with you today a little bit about the role of a defense attorney because it's often misunderstood. Very often, I'm asked the same question, and that is, how do you defend somebody when you know that they are guilty? Well, ignoring the fact that we're all at least a little guilty of something in life, I took the same oath of allegiance that the prosecuting attorney took. My job is to defend the constitutional rights of every citizen, including you, the listener. Every person is innocent until proven guilty beyond a reasonable doubt, and this is an incredibly important right. I make no apologies for defending my clients. They are human beings who have made mistakes. And in fact, the first thing that we do in defending our clients is to make sure that we do something to rectify that mistake, whether it be go to rehab, help out the person they might have injured or harmed. But the first thing we do is to rectify the mistake. Then make this clear. My job is not to get a guilty person off a charge. My job is that which is mandated by the oath that I took as an attorney. And that is to defend the Constitution and the rights of any and all accused citizens. I like to explain to jurors in trials how I think it is important that we discuss how they might view my role in the trial, because they have misunderstandings like you might. First, like the judge, the prosecutor, and all members of society, I'm greatly concerned about the problem of crime. But I also have to be concerned with ensuring that our disgust with crime doesn't cause the conviction of an innocent person. We all agree that when we're participating in a trial, we're participating in the interest that justice occurs. The second aspect of my role is that of an advocate. I have the privilege and responsibility of speaking on behalf of my fellow man who has been accused of a very serious criminal offense. It is a responsibility that I do not take lightly, and I explain it by talking about a gentleman named William Lloyd Garrison. Back around the year 1836, a gentleman by the name of William Lloyd Garrison started a newspaper in Boston. It was called The Liberator. And this paper had one purpose, and that was to act as a voice against the oppression and the terror of slavery, all the way back in 1836. In its first issue, Garrison explained to his readers that, quote, if your wife was in the hands of a ravisher, do you rescue her with moderation? If your child is inside a burning house, would you rescue your child moderately? If your child is being kidnapped by another, would you rescue your child with moderation? Lloyd Garrison went on to say, I will not equivocate. I will be heard. And so it is. I apologize to juries, explaining that if it seems that I was overzealous, that we defend people accused of breaking the law, just consider the situation if your son or your daughter or your wife or your husband was wrongfully accused of a heinous crime. I would let no one suggest to me that I should defend your loved one moderately, because I simply do not know how. Some people think that defense lawyers defend crime. I actually hate crime. I consider myself to be a law enforcement officer just as the prosecutor. The only difference between the role of the prosecutor and the role of the defense attorney is that prosecutors enforce statutes and substantive law. I am in charge of enforcing the procedural law, the grandest and most primary law of our country, the Constitution of the United States. And these rights are given to the defendant by the law of this country, and they are paramount. They're primary, and they are as much a part of this country as the statutes which define the offenses which my clients are often charged with violating. The first job and the most important job of a defense lawyer in our society is to protect people's rights, especially the rights of those who are accused by the government of trespassing the law. Lawyers in America cannot merely be a practitioner of law. They have a public responsibility to ensure that we remain a government of law. Our country was born out of a rebellion against an oppressive government whose government functions would allow soldiers and officers of the government to enter people's homes at will, take their money and property at will, and deprive their liberties at will. This is how America was born, and this is the America that I fight for. In standing up for one individual, I'm standing up for all individuals. And standing up for one individual that means I'm standing up for you. Now, I've got 30 years of experience in the criminal justice system. I've handled almost 8,000 cases and probably seen 10 for every case that I've handled. I've got an incredible amount of experience. We're available 24/7, 365, and hopefully you'll never need us. But if you do, we're here and we're ready to defend you. Thanks for listening.